When you think of Australia, one of the first images that probably comes to mind is a kangaroo hopping across the desert landscape. These extraordinary marsupials have become the unofficial symbol of an entire continent, appearing everywhere from the Australian coat of arms to airline logos. But beyond their iconic status, kangaroos are some of the most fascinating and unique animals on Earth. Their abilities and behaviors are almost too incredible to be real. Today, we are diving deep into the world of kangaroos. We will explore the surprising adaptations that make them one of nature's most successful animals, the unexpected intelligence they possess, and the complex relationship they share with the lands and people of Australia. The most distinctive feature of kangaroos is their extraordinary jumping ability. A large red kangaroo can cover 7.5 meters in a single leap and reach speeds of 56 kilometers per hour. But what truly makes their hopping remarkable is not just the distance or speed, it's the efficiency. When a kangaroo hops, it essentially turns itself into a biological pogo stick. Its powerful hind legs contain tendons that act like giant springs, storing and releasing energy with every bounce. Thanks to this elastic energy storage system, the faster a kangaroo moves, the less energy it uses. Scientists have calculated that when a kangaroo travels at 20 kilometers per hour, it uses about 50% less energy than a horse or a human running at the same speed. Even more surprising, kangaroos become less tired as they speed up. For most animals, increasing speed means exponentially higher energy costs. But for kangaroos, the opposite is true. When they accelerate from 10 kilometers per hour to 30 kilometers per hour, their energy consumption remains almost the same. This makes them one of the most efficient animals in the world when it comes to long-distance travel. But hopping is not just for efficient movement. Kangaroos also use this ability for communication. When a kangaroo senses danger, it stomps the ground with its powerful hind legs, producing a thumping sound that can be heard from miles away. This foot-thumping behavior acts as an early warning system that alerts other kangaroos in the group. Kangaroos are marsupials, meaning they raise their young outside the body in a specialized pouch. But kangaroo reproduction is filled with details that seem like something out of science fiction. When a female kangaroo gives birth, the baby is only about 2 centimeters long, about the size of a piece of gum. This tiny, blind, and hairless newborn must immediately begin an incredible journey. It must climb through its mother's fur and find the pouch without any help. This journey only takes a few minutes, but relative to the baby's size, it is equivalent to a human climbing the length of a football field using only arm strength. Once it reaches the pouch, the baby attaches to one of the nipples and remains there for about 6 months. But this is where things get really interesting. A mother kangaroo can have 3 young at different stages of development at the same time. One baby may be in the pouch, another may be outside exploring but still nursing, and a third embryo may be waiting in the uterus in a state of suspended animation. This phenomenon, called embryonic diapause, gives kangaroos incredible reproductive flexibility. If the baby in the pouch dies or disappears, the paused embryo immediately resumes development, and a new baby is born within days. If environmental conditions are not ideal, such as during a drought, the mother can keep the embryo suspended for months, or sometimes even years, until conditions improve. Even more impressively, the mother can produce 2 different types of milk for young at different stages of development. One nipple produces high-protein milk for the tiny baby in the pouch, while another produces a higher-fat milk for the larger baby outside. Both types of milk are produced at the same time in the same animal. Scientists are still trying to fully understand this phenomenon. Kangaroos are often thought of as simple animals, but recent research shows that they actually have surprisingly sophisticated social lives. Kangaroos live in groups called mobs, usually consisting of one dominant male, several females, and their young. Within these groups, there is a complex social hierarchy, and kangaroos maintain it using both physical and social signals. The famous boxing matches between male kangaroos are often more like ritualized displays than real fights. When two males meet, they usually evaluate each other carefully before boxing begins. They stand upright, gently push each other with their forepaws, and measure each other's strength. Most of the time, the smaller or younger male withdraws before a single punch is thrown. However, when a real fight begins, it can be incredibly intense. Male kangaroos can stand over 2 meters tall and weigh more than 90 kilograms. They grab each other with their forepaws and kick with their powerful hind legs. Each leg can deliver more than 800 kilograms of force. These fights usually end within a few minutes, and the loser walks away, but in rare cases, they can lead to serious injuries. Even more fascinating is the ability of kangaroos to communicate with humans. A study conducted in 2020 showed that kangaroos can ask humans for help, a behavior previously associated with domesticated animals, like dogs and horses. In the experiment, researchers placed food inside a box that the kangaroos could not reach. When wild kangaroos encountered the closed box, they looked at the nearby human, then at the box, then back at the human again, essentially asking, "Can you open this?" This behavior is particularly remarkable because kangaroos are not domesticated and have not lived alongside humans for hundreds of years. Yet they appear to possess a natural ability to read social cues and request help from another species. Kangaroos are perfectly adapted to Australia's harsh environment. The continent is mostly arid and semi-arid, temperatures regularly exceed 40 degrees Celsius, and water is scarce. Kangaroos have developed extraordinary abilities to thrive under these conditions. To stay cool, they do not sweat. This would cause them to lose too much water. Instead, they lick their forepaws. As the saliva evaporates, it cools the blood vessels beneath their forearms, and this cooled blood circulates through the rest of their bodies. They also rest in the shade during the hottest part of the day and postpone their activities to the cooler hours of dawn and dusk. Kangaroos' digestive systems are also extremely efficient. Unlike cattle and sheep, they produce very little methane during digestion, which makes them a more climate-friendly source of meat. Some researchers suggest that studying the bacteria in kangaroo digestion could help reduce the carbon footprint of livestock. When it comes to water, kangaroos can survive for days or even weeks without drinking. They obtain most of the moisture they need from the plants they eat, and they can adjust their metabolism to be extremely water efficient. They can concentrate their urine and minimize the loss of water from their bodies. In modern Australia, the situation of kangaroos is complex. On one hand, they are a national symbol and are protected in the wild. On the other hand, their populations have grown so large that they are considered damaging in many regions. There are about 50 million kangaroos in Australia, twice as many as humans. These high numbers result from several factors. The absence of natural predators, such as dingoes and the thylacine, known as the Tasmanian tiger, the increase in water sources for livestock, and the open spaces created by human activity that provide grazing areas. This situation creates challenges. Kangaroos compete with farmers' crops, they can damage fences, and they sometimes jump in front of cars, causing accidents. Thousands of kangaroo vehicle collisions occur every year. As a result, Australia has a regulated kangaroo harvesting industry, and about 5 million kangaroos are killed annually. This is controversial. Supporters argue that controlled harvesting is necessary to keep populations at sustainable levels, and that kangaroo meat is an environmentally friendly source of protein. Opponents claim that the practice is cruel and that population numbers are overestimated. When we say kangaroo, we usually think of the large red or gray kangaroos, but in fact there are more than 60 species in the kangaroo family, and their sizes and lifestyles vary greatly. The smallest kangaroo is the musky rat kangaroo, which weighs only about 500 grams and resembles a mouse. It lives in Australia's rainforests and is nocturnal. During the day, it nests on the soft forest floor. At the other extreme is the red kangaroo, which can reach 2 meters in height and weigh up to 90 kilograms, the largest marsupial in the world. These giants live in open desert landscapes and can travel more than 50 kilometers in a single day when necessary. In between are fascinating species such as tree kangaroos, Yes, kangaroos that live in trees. These animals are found in the rainforests of New Guinea and northern Australia and have strong forelimbs and shorter hind legs specialized for climbing. They cannot hop as fast as their ground-dwelling relatives, but they can leap up to 9 meters from branch to branch. There are rock wallabies, small kangaroos that live among rocky cliffs and whose claws can grip like rubber. There is the quokka, a small kangaroo famous for taking selfies with tourists and often called the world's happiest animal. And there is the patamalon, roughly the size of a dog and active at night. Each species has adapted to Australia's diverse environments, from arid deserts to lush rainforests, from mountainous terrain to coastal regions. Climate change is hitting Australia hard. In recent years, the country has experienced record temperatures, prolonged droughts, and devastating fires. Kangaroos are now facing these new challenges. During the 2019 to 2020 fires, millions of kangaroos were killed or lost their habitats. Those that survived retreated to areas where food and water resources had been severely reduced. In some regions, the drought was so severe that kangaroo mothers became too weak to carry their young in the pouch. However, kangaroos have survived Australia's variable climate for millions of years, and evolution has given them remarkable resilience. Scientists believe that abilities such as embryonic diapause may help them adapt to changing conditions. They can pause reproduction during times of drought and then rapidly rebuild their populations when conditions improve. Some kangaroo populations are also changing their behavior. Kangaroos that were traditionally active at certain hours of the day are shifting to the cooler nighttime hours. Others are moving toward coastal regions, where water is more available. Kangaroos are far more than a symbol of Australia. They are living proof of the power of evolution, animals that have developed unique adaptations to thrive in one of the harshest environments on the planet. From biological pogo sticks to flexible reproduction, from social intelligence to environmental resilience, kangaroos are an extraordinary example of nature's creativity. Looking ahead, the fate of kangaroos is closely connected to Australia's ecosystems and to how humans choose to coexist with them. As the world changes, these hopping giants will continue to teach us a great deal about adaptation, resilience, and the incredible diversity of the natural world. When we study kangaroos, we are not just discovering a fascinating animal, we are unlocking the mysteries of evolution, adaptation, and survival itself. And perhaps most importantly, we gain a deep appreciation for creatures that are very different from us, yet still share this planet with us.